Owen, it's a sun-drenched Ortus Rec this evening. You've just had the community session with the women's training session and having Lauker under 13s down. We'll have a bit of a discussion about that in a minute, but we'll look back at yesterday's game. 25-all at Doncaster, 18-4 up at the break to come out with a point. I asked jointly at the end, is it a point gained or a point lost?
A point lost in my opinion. I guess in a tough competition like the Championship, you take a point away from home, but when you're 18-4 up at half time, it feels like more of a point lost than a point gained, in my opinion. But like I said, it's a tight competition. Points all over the place are going to be necessary. So when we can get one, we'll take one.
You mentioned when you can get one, you'll take one. It could be, like you mentioned, it's a really tight competition in that sort of bottom third at the moment. When you do look at towards the end of the season, it could be a vital point. But you know, when you're in the sheds afterwards, was it a bit downhearted after what was a fantastic first half performance to get 18-4 in front of the break?
Yeah, it was. I think when we drew against Widnes, that was more of a winning draw sort of feeling, but the weekend was a losing draw feeling for sure.
And like you say, looking back at obviously not just that game, but obviously the last sort of few weeks, the team sort of seemed to be on an up. That them double headers or back-to-back games against Sheffield and Batley seemed to knock the lads a little bit. But then going down to the south of France, while it was a defeat there and defeat one here against Featherstone, there was that fantastic performance at York. You then go and draw at Widnes, a good performance against Wakefield and a draw at Doncaster. And why you say it might have felt like a losing point yesterday, it's points that maybe in previous seasons, maybe obviously you weren't here, but in previous seasons these sides weren't winning. So to be able to pick up points when you can, you know, not losing on the road, it's hopefully you can put a bit of confidence into the side.
The side is confident, I think. You're very right there. And I think I hear a lot of people say compared to last year, and I keep saying it's a new year, it's a new squad, there's a new mentality as well. I don't think we're happy getting points on the road, a single points on the road. We want to get 2 points each time, and you know, losing to Sheff and Batley at home in the fashion that we did was just not good enough. And we spoke about that. We spoke about how we approach our games. And to be honest, the Toulouse trip, whilst we didn't, the scoreboard looked pretty bad. Our performance there was quite good, and I think having a trip away with everyone, you know, left a bit of steam as well after the game, which always helps. But I think we've brought back that camaraderie to that sort of period you're talking about. We've been pretty successful in some games, and we've competed a lot more over these past probably 6 weeks just gone. The weekend's a bit of a downer on that one, but you know, we've got a lot of games to look forward to now. We've got a decent block of games that are very winnable. We want to try and take as many points out of that as possible.
And how are yourself settling into life over there? Obviously, in the UK, you've been here a good few months now. The weather seems to be getting slightly better. It's a bit warmer for yourself, but how's adjusting to life, not just in the UK, but the British game as well?
I'm starting to get a tan now, if you haven't seen, just from all the sun. No, it's been good. You know, I'm fully settled in now. It feels like home now. I forget what Brisbane even looks like. And the game's been interesting. It's a lot tougher than I'm used to back home, but I think that sort of suits my game. I don't have much skill, as the crowd can tell sometimes, but I tackle hard, I run hard, and I do my best in that sense. So, yeah, I'm enjoying that part of it.
And obviously the Championship division as a whole, you've already mentioned it, it's a really competitive division. Is it as tight and as competitive as you were told before you came over?
It was, yeah, absolutely. Everyone said it's probably not as skillful as Super League, but it's probably tougher than the Super League, and I'm feeling that every week. I've got bruises all over my face, and I've got a scratched ear and stuff, so yeah, definitely feeling that physically.
And looking down this evening, obviously the community side, yourself, Lockie's behind us, you've got like Will, Jake Mason, Joey Romeo have all been involved going out and back into schools and getting the community programme underway. It must be good to get that, to go out and see the local area, meet the local kids, the teachers, the parents, wherever you may be, and just starting to integrate yourselves a little bit more within West Cumbria.
Absolutely. This team is for the whole town. It's not just for the 17 players who pull on a jersey. So we've got to do our part and get back in the community. And it's not even a have to, actually. It's more of a want to, because we actually really enjoy it. Me and Lockie had a ball this afternoon with the under-13 Lauker girls and the women's. And I know Lockie and Jake have been in the schools a lot, and they've been really enjoying that sort of side of it. And I think it helps, because I think a lot of them are starting to come down to the game as well. They're getting a bit more of an interest in Whitehaven. So, you know, it's sort of a nice scratch your back, you scratch mine situation. You know, the more we put in, the more we get out of it as well.
And finally, a weekend off this weekend, probably a much needed weekend off for the squad. The squad's doing battered and bruised at the moment, and sort of small on numbers. But after this 16 consecutive weekends of championship action. It's sort of unprecedented. We don't normally get that many big games in a block without a week off. It's going to be a tough end to the season, despite only not even being halfway through. But like you say, 16 consecutive weekends. You're looking forward to it?
Yes and no. I love playing football, but I hate Monday afterwards. 16 weeks will be very tough, especially you said small squad's going to be really tough. Probably have to look at some loan players getting in. The loan players we have had have done a really good job for us, I think. We might have to look at getting a few more in because you're right, the team's a bit battered and bruised. But like you said, week off really good. Got to try and be as sensible as possible and get our injuries up to date because 16 weeks can be very tough, especially in this competition.